Hey guys, this review is more back with a quick review, actually a longer review, this time on the Rosewill brand bread maker. And if you look at those little timestamps at the beginning, you can skip ahead to the actual results. This item is about $60 to $70 from where you bought it. I bought mine for 50 plus it was on sale from Newegg, of all places. Normally I buy from Amazon or off eBay, but it was on sale at Newegg. Rosewill has an eBay store. I believe Rosewill is basically Newegg's in-house brand. And this was just a bread maker, and I've been wanting one for a while, and this was the cheapest I could find that wasn't like, for lack of a better term, unbranded or basically like an Equate or something that was just really kind of terrible. So this is one I'm trying out, and I will make the pitch now. Please, if you like this review, hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. It comes with a little berry dispenser. There is what you're seeing right there, fruit and nut dispenser for when you're making bread. So far, I have made 4 different things in this bread maker. I've made their basic bread, which is basically a farmhouse bread, and that was first using all-purpose flour. I then switched to using bread flour for my second loaf of bread, and I've made 2 sets of pizza dough. So I'm trying one with basil in it that turned out a little bit dry. I'm still going to try to cook with it, and one that I added a little bit extra water and violated the recipe a little bit, and that was a little bit wet, so I'm still working on getting it just right. So I picked this up because I want to start doing more and more like bread products that aren't purchased in the store, just because I've found that it tastes better and everything else. Every bread maker that Rosewill sells like this, it comes with obviously the bread pan. It comes with the agitator there for kneading the dough. Overall, really happy with it. Only complaint is when you put an item in there that's a little more doughy. For example, the pizza dough, which you're not going to see here because I'll do that in a later video. It will shake and it will move. So it's not the heaviest thing in the world. It's mostly plastic, except for the obvious portions that can't be plastic, the heating element, the bread pan itself. But it's not a terribly heavy item, so that's probably my only real gripe with it. So be careful putting on a counter and leaving unattended, because if it's going to knead the dough for too long, it will possibly knock it right off the counter unless it's pushed far away. I think it moved about, it kind of rotates along, so it kind of like slowly moves in a little circle. That's my only real gripe about it. Alright, and the actual instructions come with a basic set of recipes. I'm looking online for other ones. So far, I like the recipes in the actual booklet because it gives you the weights, or mass because it's in grams, I guess. But it gives you the weight as opposed to just using cups, because they don't specify should the like flour be sifted prior. I do out of habit because that's what I learned when I was in high school. But avoiding using flour that sat in a bag too long, even says pre-sifted. The results are pretty good. You're going to see a time lapse. 3 hours is typical for start to finish cooking in the bread pan. Although I think I'm going to probably start cooking outside of the actual bread pan in the machine and just kind of use this as a dough mixer. Just because I don't really like the shape of the bread. It's kind of squat. I mean, it works just fine. And it makes kind of big sandwich bread if you were to use it that way. And of course, because it's got that dough blade in there for kneading the dough, there's always a big hole in the bottom of the bread. Not a deal breaker, I mean, because you can always use your oven, but and it's going to be an issue with pretty much every bread maker out there, so it's a common issue. But that's my only real gripe is it's not terribly heavy, which given the price makes sense, and that dough hook makes a hole. But that last complaint isn't really a complaint, because that's the issue with any bread maker, because they all have that little kneading arm in there that's going to leave a little indentation or a little gap in your bread. I will say this, when it's mixing, I had to use a rubber spatula all 3 times after the first. So the first example, you're going to see this art using the all-purpose flour. That's the first one you're going to see, and that you're seeing me mix currently. Not all the flour gets mixed in because the dough just couldn't quite get it. And I used the max size. It's a 2-pound weight limit, and I used the max hoping it would mix it all up pretty well. The bread had a great consistency, really nice flavor. I really enjoyed eating the bread. It was very nice with soup. Basically, their basic bread's like a farmhouse bread, but because of the shape of the basin, that bread pan, it wasn't getting the corners, and you'll notice that with the finished product, because you'll see some uncooked, unmixed flour on the side, because I basically just put the lid on and walked away because I wanted to see what the result would be. And the result was pretty good. I just wish it mixed a little better on the future when I do the dough for pizza, which will be in a future video, and when I do it with the bread flour as opposed to all-purpose flour. I used a rubber spatula to kind of swipe down and knock the unmixed, all the unmixed flour that was in the corners out. The instructions are pretty standard for any bread machine. You put in the liquid first, then you put in the salt, then you put in the flour, then or in the other dry ingredients with the yeast put on top with a little indentation, and it'll go from there. Most bread machines all have the same kind of functionality here. You see the menu button. The more you press it, the different options you'll have. It'll run through 1 through 12. You can see them right there. I've only done basic, and I've also done dough, because I think what will mostly happen is I'll be mostly using it for the dough function, because I'd rather cook in different shaped pans. They're more bread shaped anyway, or just like shape the bread on a large cookie sheet or something and cook it to where it looks like an actual loaf of bread, like Panera Bread style. But you can adjust the color down from light to dark. I found that the first setting I set it on was medium, and I feel like that was a little too dark. The bread came out nice on the inside, a little crunchy on the outside, but not good for sandwich bread, but good for like dipping bread in soup or using it for other purposes. Light will give you that very, very light crust that almost feels like, I guess, like bagged sandwich bread. So that's what you deal with. And you just run it through and you change the weight from 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds. And that darkness and that weight really only matters with regard to anything that cooks the bread, because if you hit dough, it does, obviously it's not cooking it, so that's not a big deal. So that should take care of the instructions in the basic interface here. It's fairly simple. But the main... one more thing. Sorry, before we keep going. The start button obviously starts it up, but you can also press stop and it pauses it. That pause will basically let you adjust things or swipe or move things around. Here's a quick time lapse of the first baking. But if you press and hold the start and stop button, it'll reset the clock. So if you're in a situation where you come downstairs and go, oh my God, this bread, like happened to me at one point, is too dry, you can basically restart the whole process, add a little bit of water, and you can kind of get away with adjusting. All right, and here you'll see the finished product. Looks pretty good. I was honestly expecting it to be a little taller. I was kind of thinking to come closer to filling the whole basin. I kind of thought I did it wrong. The only thing I might have done incorrectly with this would be not making sure that the water was a little warm to help the yeast activate. So that's why I did it a second time. Also, it was, again, the bread comes out a little bit crunchy on the outside. You let it rest for about 20 minutes, and then you slice it open. That's what you're going to see next. After that, you'll see me do this again, but using bread flour as opposed to all-purpose flour, and the result's a lot better. They look similar, but the results are better. There's a little more rise to it, but the bread maker's working fine. It's not just me eating it. Other people are eating it, and they say it tastes good. My next video is going to be a pizza dough thing, and I might put that on a different channel because it's starting to get into more of a cooking style thing, and I do mostly reviews here. So I might do that on a separate channel and just kind of link it around. But overall, happy with it. Only real gripe, it's a little light, but given the price, that's kind of to be expected. So it will move if you have like dough in there that kind of shakes and rattles and rolls. It'll shake, rattle, and move your bread maker. If you are choosing to use the basin, you're going to probably need to use the spatula to kind of get the edge out. But overall, I'm really happy with it considering what it is. And right there, you see all that white, that's just uncooked flour. And that was because I just left this thing alone to see what it would do by itself. And that's the other complaint. You got to scrape down everything to make sure it all mixes up nicely. So you will have to attend to this usually in the first mixing and kneading portion, the first like 10 minutes of it, to make sure it's picking up everything it's got to pick up. But the bread's a little squat, and I think that's more because I didn't allow the yeast to get to room temperature. I just put cold water in there, not thinking about it. And in the remainder of the video, what you're going to see is me doing the same exact thing, same exact recipe as their basic bread, which is described as like a farmhouse bread. But I'm going to use bread flour. I'm going to let the water get to the proper temperature and do that correctly. And you'll see a much taller loaf of bread. It'll be much more lift and rise to it, which is, and overall, I think it tasted better too. I also made sure to use it on a light instead of a medium, like you see it's a little dark there except for the uncooked flour portions. So there are better results. I mean, it's a loaf of bread. It tasted fine. The inside is nice and fluffy, and you'll see that in just a moment. And then now we're coming to the test of the more, I knew what I was doing a little better. So proper water temperature, better, more appropriate bread flour. I think next time I do this recipe, I might add a little more yeast to get a little more rising in the dough, but the bread tastes good. It's just that the first round that you're looking at here kind of came out a little bit like cake. So it's a little more cakey, just not sugary, but just the consistency. That's probably only that, and that's user error. That's not this stuff. So we got a little bit better here. Now using some bread flour, and here's the results. And I actually had the lid open so you could see the rising happen. I was a little too nervous about leaving it open last time, but just a quick time lapse, and you can't see it, but there were several occasions where I had to swipe down and basically knock some of the excess flour off and make sure it got mixed up. Now, once you do get to the portion where it is cooking, usually it's like the last 60 minutes, you do have to close the lid. So you can't do this like I'm doing every time. So here's the final result. And there you see a little sack of potatoes behind there. The result turned out pretty nice. It looks basically like a loaf of bread. It's got a little bit of a head to it, a little tall, like the bread rose a little bit more towards the center. But other than that, I think it looks pretty good. And it definitely tasted better, in my opinion, than the first one. The first one had and that's probably more a result of using bread flour than anything else. You also see there was a lot more rise to it there. You can see actually sticking out of the top. But the bread flour, I think, was the biggest difference in possibly making sure the water was the right temperature, because the thing does produce heat just by the kneading of the dough. So I think really using bread flour was what kind of made the biggest difference here. And you see me just doing bad camera editing by just leaving that sitting there instead of editing that out. But let it rest for about 20 minutes. That will allow any last cooking to take place and prevents anything bad from happening. But it's a good bit taller. The color is a little better. There's also not a whole bunch of unmixed flour on there, so there's a lot more fluffiness to it. This bread was a lot fluffier, not nearly as dense. And I think that's probably mostly a result of using bread flour as opposed to just using all-purpose flour. It just did a better job. More gluten, hooray. And here's the cutting results. Really, really yummy. Slice it right open, stays nice and steamy. This is a gripe I have with all homemade breads like this. They get dry fast, so I'm a saran wrapper. Once I'm done with this, I wrap it up in plastic because I just don't want any of the moisture escaping because it gets stale so fast. So wrap it up quickly after you're done, and it'll last a little longer. But this bread turned out real nice. I would like it. It would be a good sandwich bread, even though it's technically not a sandwich bread recipe according to their little booklet. I'm really happy with the bread maker. For the cost, it'll do it, and in a year I might upgrade and get a better one. Who knows? So I'm happy with it. Thanks for watching. And again, if you like the video, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps me out. And have a great day.